I can't believe we're already here at 2011. For the past few weeks, we've watched the Cars diecast line begin and expand, starting off by just giving us the core cast of characters from the movies, then starting to give us more of the secondary characters and character variants, more background characters and character variants, and then expand to introduce new concepts like deluxes, chases, the lenticulars, and cars not based on the first movie, with things like the storytellers and Cars tunes. 2010 was a very unique year with 3 different main lines, and 2011 is yet another incredibly unique year, because it was the year that a brand new Cars movie released. In June of this year, the hotly anticipated Cars sequel, Cars 2, came out, and with it came something very new and very different for the Cars diecast line. The Cars 2 diecast line completely overtook what we had before. It continued the concepts we already knew, such as chases, deluxes, singles, 2-packs, etc., but for 2011 and 2012, every diecast we got was based on Cars 2. Well, nowadays we're used to the Cars mainline encapsulating all of the Cars series, giving us cars from all of the different movies, shows, and products. Back in 2011, when Cars 2 came out, it simply took over the entire line for, again, 2 years there. In total, we received 50 singles, with about 25 of them in 2011 and the other 25 in 2012. Not all that much for each year by, current standards, but the Cars 2 diecast line was certainly very impressive, considering every single item we got in it was brand new. Again, nowadays, right, we're used to new releases and re-releases, but when Cars 2 was coming out, everything was brand new. That's something they didn't even do for Cars 3, where the Radiator Springs characters released that year were simple re-releases of the pre-existing one. The Cars 2 diecast line may not be as big as other toy lines from the history of the Cars diecast line, but it's certainly nothing to scoff at. While Cars 2 is certainly a pretty contentious film, I've always believed that it has some of the best character designs in the entire Cars franchise. In fact, it's my personal favorite movie to collect diecasts from because the Around the World theme provides some incredibly unique items, whether it's all the international racers or the background characters from Tokyo, France, Italy, and England. There is a lot of really great stuff from Cars 2 and a lot of great items that came out in 2011. While 2012 went into some more obscure characters and variants, 2011 primarily focused on the main cast of the film and a couple sort of background characters. And one of the 2011 releases is my second favorite Cars diecast of all time. This is Damaged Rod Torque Redline. Released in a 2-pack in 2011 alongside Grem, this item is pretty rare these days and has been for several years, and it's pretty easy to see why. This is an incredibly well-detailed item, a variant of Secret Agent Rod Torque Redline from when he's been damaged in a fight in a Tokyo bathroom. Cars 2 is still one of the strangest movies ever made, easily. Just recapping its plot points normally like that is so weird out of context and also weird in context, but it's okay. I've always had a soft spot for Cars 2 due to its creativity and, again, the character designs and world building, and Rod Torque Redline has always had one of my favorite Cars character designs just in general. You've seen a lot of this guy on my channel over the years, especially with projects like my Redline movie from back in the day and Cars Adventures and everything. This is a character that I absolutely love the design of, and I've always quite liked because it's a guy that's got like 3 minutes of screen time and then he explodes. Anyway, guys, welcome back to 20 years of favorites. This is the series where I review my favorite Cars diecast from each year of the toy line, one car a week, leading up to the 20th anniversary of the first Cars movie and the Cars franchise as a whole in June. Today, I'm very excited to be taking a look at Damaged Rod Torque Redline. Like I said, this is one of my favorite Cars diecasts ever. It is my second favorite of all time, easily, behind a car that you won't be seeing for several weeks now. In fact, it'll be almost a decade in the diecast line until you see it. I wonder if anyone will be able to successfully guess the item. I'm not entirely sure, but man, guys, 2011 was a strong year for the Cars diecast line. So many fantastic items from the new Cars 2 movie. Guys, 2011 was such a good year in general, okay? There were so many good movies that came out that year. The Muppets came back. It's easily one of my favorite years for music. The greatest song in the history of songs came out that year. As we all know, thank you, Judas, for being the best. We just, you know. Anyway, let's get started taking a look at Damaged Rod Torque Redline, because the design for this is absolutely incredible. The Cars diecast line continually knocks it out of the park when it comes to damaged characters. We don't get them nearly as much as most people would like, but when we do, they're really good. Of course, in 2010, we got Race Damaged Mood Springs, who's literally, like, bent like that. You know, and Damaged Rod Redline obviously isn't as damaged as that, but what they do with this item is absolutely incredible and just so well done. The molding here is amazing, and it really does look like a crunched up version of this character, complete with the same sort of blue, dark blue speckle design. I really love that color scheme with the black stripes. I love the car model. And yeah, the facial expression here is pretty solid. Matches with the character, of course. The mouth here is pretty interesting. You could already see just how crushed everything is here. Oh, look at the hood. It like swoops in and out and down. And of course, it looks like it's been bashed upwards and outwards. You can see that this part has become sort of recessed in a bit. As you can see, one of my favorite details with this item has always been that one rear view mirror is sculpted to be hanging off of the side, and the other is just completely not there. You can, you know, I'm sure many of us have some diecasts whose mirrors have fallen off. You can often find those, but yeah, this is deliberate. This is part of the design, and you can see the area where it's supposed to be attached sculpted into the side of the car. We have some little scuff marks in the paint all over. You can see the black stripes starting to be ripped off. Again, very realistic. It looks like if you were to take sandpaper to the side of the car. We've got his little G4 DXR logo there. Doesn't matter what the car says now. This guy's in trouble. The wheels, of course, are the exact same. And the roof there is another detail I absolutely love. Just look at that rippling detail. It really looks like crushed metal, and the way that crushed metal often looks sometimes kind of liquidy. You know, when metal is crushed in the way that Rod Redline gets crushed in the movie, it just, you know, we think of metal as something super sturdy and solid. It just stops being that, and it bends and it folds, and it's just captured so well here. The dent work genuinely captures what a wrecked car looks like in this small scale so well, and that's why it's one of my all-time favorite items. It's just incredible detail that really, like, I can't praise enough. Look at the detailing on the back here. We have another dent here. We have two dents here, sort of perpendicular to each other, and then this dent combines with the fact that the whole back is crunched and folded in. See, look at this. This whole section completely folded inward. We have this one mirror crushed downward and folded in. And another one of my favorite details is this. His license plate is completely falling off. Of course, my camera chooses now not to focus. N1911A1, as you can see. Let's just double check it's the same. Yes, good, thank you. Not the same shape, but same design, as it should be. You can never trust them with license plates. 2010 was like the worst year for license plates. Every car had like the same two. Unfortunately, that was a problem that continued into the Cars 2 era with the fishbowl license plate epidemic. Look at this. I've never even noticed this. Look at this. One of his exhaust pipes is bent downwards. That is amazing. I've reviewed this car many times over the years, and I'm still finding new incredible details about it. And of course, the other side is completely different with some more of my favorite dents on the car. Look at those over there on the back, looking great. And around the wheel well, again, the damage, the crushing on this somewhere down there is just so realistic, so fantastic. And we're actually supposed to get an even more damaged version of Rod with some boots on him, but that one was canceled. And I don't know, at the end of the day, I don't mind, because I do genuinely think this is one of the best detailed Cars die-casts ever. So why is this one of my, not just my favorite 2011, but one of my all-time favorites? Well, it's a variant of a character that I really like. And if you guys know me, you know that I really like when sort of secondary or obscure Cars characters get different, interesting variants. It's certainly very, very unique. I always love it when a character that doesn't do too much in the Cars series gets to have more than one representation of himself in the diecast line, especially ones based on different moments. And I think it's just so incredibly molded. It really is impressive. I bought this item. I went out of this way to buy this item for my Redline movie. One of the first times I specifically bought a car for a video, other than, you know, for the purposes of reviewing it like I typically do. I bought this to use in my movie, and I'm so glad I did. I got it for maybe $20-$25 at the time. I'm not sure how much it's going for now, but this is genuinely, I think, one of the best Cars diecasts of all time. I don't know how many people think that, but for me, it's always been one of the best. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time, where we'll talk about 2012, an interesting continuation of 2011. That brought us some great new releases, but is also infamous for being one of the worst years in the history of the line due to the terrible distribution. So it's going to be interesting. Bye now.